Hello, thrill seekers. It's good to see you return for more viral outlaws. So, buckle your seatbelts. Today, we take a ride into the life of Stephanie St. Clair. This is the story of a woman who shatters stereotypes like champagne glass on marble floors. We're talking about the Queen, guys, a Caribbean firecracker who waltzed right into the heart of Harlem's underworld and became, wait for it, the most gangster granny you've ever seen. From island paradise to concrete jungle, she was born in Guadeloupe in 1897. Stephanie wasn't your typical island girl. She craved adventure, and at the tender age of 13, she set sail for New York City. We do have some accounts that state she lived for a short time in Canada as a domestic servant. Other accounts even say that she lived for a time in France. But we know she settled in Harlem around the year 1912. Now, Harlem in the early 20th century wasn't exactly sunshine and roses. It was a melting pot of immigrants hustling for a slice of the American dream. Stephanie, with her fierce spirit and sharp mind, saw great opportunity. She became the policy queen and had a crown of cash. Stephanie, better known as Madam Queen, didn't start off at the top of the underworld. Her beginnings were humble, and her beauty was astounding. She caught the attention of a local small-timer by the name of Duke shortly after arriving in Harlem. But Duke had foul intentions. He had planned on pimping out Madam Queen. He quickly found out he had bit off way more than he bargained for when he was shot and killed by the Queen. He had mistaken royalty as some $2 hooker and paid the ultimate price. Then she started seeing Ed. Ed was a tough guy with a pretty face that had ties to the drug trade. There was instant chemistry between the two, and they decided to start seeing each other, and Queen saw her opportunity to grasp the American dream. They opened up shop, and money started coming in quicker than she had ever seen in her life. But once the cash started raining in, the storm clouds weren't far behind, and after a dispute over how the money was to be divided, Ed tried to choke the Queen into seeing things his way. The Queen kicked him across the room so hard that his head hit the wall. Ed died on the spot. Madam Queen had saved up some money from her time dealing, and she set her sights on the numbers racket. The numbers racket was basically a lottery that was popular in black communities. She took $10,000 and began to build her empire. Queen also acted as a bank for Harlem, as banks often wouldn't accept black customers and black residents didn't lend their trust to white-controlled banks either. Queen had an edge on the other organizations because unlike other gangsters, Stephanie treated her employees well. She paid fair wages, demanded respect, and she even challenged her men to be better. Can you imagine a gangster granny schooling grown men? By 1940, she was worth $500,000, which would be about $10 million today. Now, word of Stephanie's success reached the ears of a notorious gangster by the name of Dutch Schultz. With the mob seeing a decline in profits due to the end of Prohibition, they wanted in on other markets, so they set their eyes on Harlem. This was not good news. Dutch wanted a piece of the Harlem pie, and let's face it, most folks just handed over, but not Stephanie. This woman stared down a ruthless mob boss and refused to budge. Let's talk about guts. Queen, with the help of Bumpy Johnson, told Dutch to take a hike, and they waged war. She wasn't about to give up all she had built because a schmutt like Arthur Flegenheimer said so. Stephanie built a financial empire, owning multiple properties and living a life of luxury, but she never forgot her community. She supported local businesses and even helped fund scholarships for young people. She was known to run ads in the paper, keeping the community up to date on legal and voting rights and calling attention to police corruption and ruthlessness in the community. But after speaking out against the police department, she began to face heavy pressure, so she stepped down after amassing her fortune. She handed the business over to Bumpy Johnson. She began to focus her life on social and political reform. About late 1930s, she married a very interesting figure by the name of Sufi Abdul Hamid, who was also known as the Black Hitler. The marriage was very short-lived. After a fight that ended in the Queen shooting him, she spent a couple of years in prison for attempted murder. After her release, she lived a very quiet life of wealth and became more of what she really was, a successful businesswoman. Leaving love behind, the community became her passion. She died in 1969, leaving behind a legacy that defied expectations. She proved that power and respect weren't only reserved for men in suits. She was a businesswoman, a community leader, and a gangster granny who played by her own rules. So next time you think gangsters are all about violence and machoism, remember Stephanie St. Clair. She rewrote the rules and proved that a little Caribbean fire can go a long way in a concrete jungle. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more viral outlaws.